What if the next patch quietly sets up the strongest teams you will run for months, and the only thing between you and that lineup is one choice you make right now? Version 6.1 is close enough to plan for, and the banner picture is clear enough to start making real decisions. Since the banners for 6.1 are semi-confirmed by HomDGCat, who has a very solid track record, it is time to ask the hard question in a calm way. Are these banners worth your wishes, your pity, and your plans? In this video, I will walk you through what is coming, what is still flexible, how these characters actually play in real teams, and who should pull or wait, so you finish this with a clear head and a savings route that makes sense for your account. Let us set the stage with what we have. The headline is the debut of Nefer, a 5-star Dendro Catalyst. The reruns sitting beside her across the patch are Arlecchino, Furina, and Zhongli. The 4 stars seen in the early lists are Lanyan, Yunjin, and Rosaria, with other 4 stars not yet confirmed. Phase order is not official, but here's the most sensible split based on how banners usually work. New units almost always launch in the first phase, so Nefer in the first half is the safe bet. I doubt the team will place 2 Archons together in one phase, so one Archon likely pairs with Nefer. And I think this Archon is gonna be Furina. This is not a best-in-slot statement, it is simple team logic. Furina's hydro output is lighter, so she is not Nefer's perfect partner, but she still does more for Lunar Bloom cores than Zhongli does. Just as important, Furina's health drain clashes with Arlecchino's Bond of Life healing lock, while Zhongli covers comfort and safety for Arlecchino, without fighting her mechanics. That is why this pairing feels like the clean, low-friction guess unless the order shifts. Treat that as smart speculation, not a promise, but it lines up with both gameplay and past scheduling. Now the hard part is not reading a list. The hard part is deciding where your primo gems actually go. These 4 headliners are all strong in their own lanes, but they ask for very different things from your account. I will start with Nefer because she is new and because her value depends on whether you are ready to lean into the new Nod Cry reactions. Nefer is a main damage dealer built around the Lunar Bloom system. Llama is the best partner to unlock her ceiling. Nahida also covers a huge part of the setup by planting consistent Dendro application and buffing elemental mastery for the squad. Aino is a helpful glue piece who can add hydro application and buffs. She is currently the best in slot, so better than Yelan and even Furina for Nefer teams. Looking forward, Columbina is rumored to sit in the sub-damage and support lane with hydro tools that could feed Bloom without asking for heavy field time. If that lands, Nefer teams will get even easier to run. The realistic downside is that Nefer's best version is not generalist. She cares about Lunar Bloom more than anything else. If you do not have Llama today, Nefer still plays well, but you are leaving power on the table. If you do have Llama, or you plan to pull Llama when she returns, Nefer becomes a very strong anchor for a modern Dendro core. There is also the simple power angle. Early numbers suggest she can stand next to top carries, and in many cases past them, with Kinich being a common yardstick people use for Dendro output. Whether she clears that bar in every team or only in Lunar Bloom squads will come down to your pieces, but the potential is real. Arlecchino is the opposite kind of decision. There is nothing mysterious here. She is one of the easiest high-damage pyro carries to pick up and enjoy right away. You set the mark with your skill, you do your support setup, you consume the mark, and then you use normal attacks with clean speed and very high personal damage. She fits neatly into Vaporize, Melt, and Mono Pyro teams. Xingqiu and Yelan are obvious partners. Bennett remains a classic, Zhongli, Seatlolly, and Layla bring comfort and safety. Xilanin can add more buffs that scale well with her pace. If you add constellations, she becomes even more straightforward because the mark timing gets less strict. The main drawback shows up in the Bond of Life part of her kit. She does not accept regular healing while that is active, which means you either invest in a strong shield, you pay attention and dodge more, or you use her burst to self-heal. That is not a deal breaker. It just means her comfort depends on your team picks and your habits. The other fair note is power creep. In pure numbers, Mavwika is the stronger pyro main damage dealer right now, and Nodcry will keep adding new kits that may push certain team types forward. Even so, Arlecchino stays very relevant because she is fast to build, very flexible, and easy to pilot, which always has value. Furina still needs almost no introduction. She is a support and sub-damage monster who slides into many teams and lifts them without asking for complicated inputs. Her skill sets up a stream of off-field hydro hits, and her burst amps your squad with real, visible numbers. She is not a healer in the traditional sense, and her hydro application is not as dense as a full driver like Yelan, so you often want a second hydro piece if your team absolutely needs a steady reaction aura. She also drains health, which means you want either a shield, a healer, or some self-sustain to keep things safe when content hits harder. Those are small trade-offs for what she brings to the table. If you do not own Furina and you enjoy reaction teams at all, she is one of the smartest picks in the entire game, full stop. Her value does not fade when new regions arrive because she interacts with so many systems, and powerful, simple buffs age well. Zhongli is the definition of comfort. His shield is still the strongest single layer of protection available. His burst turns mobs into statues and buys you time to reset a rotation. He adds resistance shred that is always useful, and he can carry a set that helps your main damage dealer without babysitting them. The honest truth is that modern supports like Seat Lolly and other newcomers can give you both protection and larger buffs in certain teams, which makes Zhongli feel less mandatory than he was in the early years. That does not mean he is weak. It means the meta now gives you choices. If you already have high comfort or you enjoy dodging, you can skip him and put your wishes elsewhere. If you want a rock-solid shield that lets you play any rotation on autopilot while you learn new mechanics, he is still an excellent pickup who keeps paying off in every patch. So should you pull? Here is the honest, simple way to think about it. If you love the idea of building around Lunar Bloom and you either have Llama or plan to get her when she returns, Nefer is a great investment that sets you up for the rest of the Nod Cry cycle. She will reward you in content that wants steady reaction play, and her numbers will scale as more lunar units arrive. If you want to plug and play carry who just hits hard and plays well with a lot of old and new units, Arlecchino will make you happy immediately. She does not need special teammates to look good, and your usual Hydro and Pyro supports will lift her in a way that feels natural. If your account is still missing Furina, it is very hard to argue against her. She lifts so many teams that she is almost always a safe first priority. If you are a player who values comfort and you hate being interrupted, Zhongli will still change how easy your runs feel even if newer supports show higher team damage numbers on paper. As always, these banners are still leaks, even though they have been leaked by one of the most reliable leakers. Treat them as a strong guide, not as fact, and wait for the special program to lock in banners and event rewards before you press the button. Share your plan in the comments and tell me who you are aiming for first. If this helped you map your wishes, I am glad. Like if it did, subscribe if you want more clear breakdowns that respect your time, and good luck in version 6.1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.